morning, all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, those who are listening, watching from the field of science, spirituality, arts, commerce, and engineering, the most honorable present Prime Minister Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, all my dear friends, I heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is the praiseworthy, admirable moment that you are listening what is happening around the world. Let us know what is happening around the world in the form of unity diversity. What is happening in the world? France calls emergency meeting of EU countries and UK. US, Russia to hold talks in Saudi Arabia today on ending wars, Ukraine not invited. Zelensky says wouldn't accept the outcome if Kiwi doesn't take part. News from Dubai, Associated Press. Senior American and Russian officials, including the country's top diplomats, will hold talks on improving their ties and negotiating an end to the war in Ukraine. The Kremlin said Monday in what would be the most significant meeting between the sides since Moscow's full-scale invasion nearly 3 years ago. The talks, scheduled for Tuesday in Saudi Arabia, mark another powerful step by the Trump administration to reverse US policy on isolating Russia and are meant to pave when Russia plays. The moves have sent Kremlin to ensure a seat at the table, and France called an emergency meeting of European Union countries and the UK on Monday to decide how to address the US blitz. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei and Foreign Affairs Advisor Yuri Yushakov will fly to the Saudi capital after later in the day. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will meet the Russian and delegation. State Department spokesperson Ted Cruz said Ukrainian will not participate. Trump administration tries to bring back fired nuclear workers in those USA. Associated Press from Washington. The Trump administration has halted the filings of hundreds of federal employees who were tasked with working on the nation's nuclear weapons programs in an about face that has left workers confused and experts questioning that Dodge's blind cost cutting will put communities at risk. Supreme Court to hear plan to fire agency head. President Donald Trump's administration had asked the US Supreme Court to intervene in its bid to fire the head of an independent US agency that protects government whistleblowers, bringing its first legal battle involving Trump's actions to the nation's highest judicial body since he took office. Justice Department asked the court to immediately lift a federal judge's February 12 order that temporarily blocked Trump's removal of Hampton Gallagher as the head of the Office of Special Counsel while litigation continues in the dispute. According to the filing, Israel says Hamas military chief killed in drone strike in Lebanon. News from Jerusalem: An Israeli drone strike in southern Lebanon on Monday killed the head of Hamas's military operations in the country, Israel's army said. The strike came on the eve of the deadline for Israel's full withdrawal from southern Lebanon under the ceasefire agreement that ended the 14-month war between Israel and Hezbollah. The Israeli military said it killed Mohammed Shaheen, the head of Hamas's operations department in Lebanon. The army accused Shaheen of recently planning terror attacks directed and funded by Iran from Lebanon territory against the citizens of the State of Israel. Hamas confirmed Shaheen's death but described him as a military commander. Footage showed a car engulfed in flames following the strike near Lebanon's army checkpoint and Sidon's municipal sports stadium. 41 ex-police officers held in Bangladesh for atrocities during student-led protests. Press Trust of India from Dhaka police in Bangladesh have arrested 41 former officials who are among 1,059 ex-policemen accused of committing atrocities during the 2024 student-led movement that led to the outside of the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Officials and media reports said on Monday. Singapore opponents leader fined for lying escapes disqualification. Press Trust of India from Singapore. Singapore's Indian origin leader of the opposition, Pritam Singh, was on Monday fined SGD 14,000 after the district court found him guilty on 2 counts of lying under oath to a parliamentary committee. First openly gay Muslim imam killed in South Africa. Conclave named Best Film at BAFTA's Brutalist bench for awards. News from London, Reuters. Papal selection thriller Conclave and period drama The Brutalist were the big winner at the BAFTA Film Awards in Sunday, winning 4 prizes each. Conclave, which had led nominations with 12 nods, won the night's most awarded award, Best Film, as well as Outstanding British Film, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Editing.
Low battery, please charge.
People in hospital for respiratory tract infection. News from Rome. Pope Francis. Respiratory tract infection is presenting a complex clinical picture that will require further hospitalization. The Vatican spokesman. Rebels occupy second biggest city in Middle East, Chicago. No regret over gathering wall out. Marshall Lynch Day of annual sports meets asked schools to effectively utilized teaching base. This continued practice of sending students to attend functions of other departments, education departments to schools is from Shimla, emphasizing the effective utilization of the prescribed 220 teaching days in state-run schools. The Himachal Pradesh government has issued annual academic calendar for 2025-26, limiting the duration of the annual sports meet at different levels. Additionally, the annual academic calendar focuses on curbing the practice of sending school students to participate in various functions organized by government, department and NGOs. Supreme Court reinstates solemn mayor terms for disqualification political Bundaism. News from New Delhi. The Supreme Court Monday reinstated Solan Mayor Usha Sharma in her post for the remainder of her tenure while leading her disqualification a case of political Bundaism. A bench of Justices Suryakant and Koteshwar Singh made its August 20, 2024 order absolute by which it had stayed her disqualification while terming her removal a case of male bias. The interim order of August 20, 2024 is made absolute. Any interference with the order will invite consequences, the bench said as it adjourned the matter after a year. When senior advocate Devdutt Kamath, appealing for the respondents, tried to interject, the bench said it does not want to pass any stricture in the order at present as it is a case of political Gundism. Sharma's counsel submitted that her tenure will get completed next year and asked the court to make its interim order of last year absolute. Women, her husband and father held for murder of 27-year-old man from Shimla. British delegation meets Himachal CM, discusses chariot collaboration from Shimla. Trader who cried robbery after wife killed had for orchestrating her murder from Ludhiana. Nabha jail escapes likely hiding in Nepal from New Delhi. News from Express Network. Two laborers killed, another injured in Ludhiana. Factory fire from Ludhiana. Odisha Varsity Suicide Administration asked students from Nepal to stay back from Bhubaneswar. Miani to Miami village that's at the heart of Punjab's migration dream. Chhattisgarh Chhattisgarh High Court extends marital rape exception. Why this matters? News from New Delhi. The Chhattisgarh High Court in a key ruling recently said that marital rape immunity in law extended to Section 377 of the Indian Penal Codes that criminalized unnatural sex. Section 375, which criminalizes rape, states that the provision does not extend to sexual intercourse or sexual acts by a man with his own wife when the wife has attained the age of majority. However, Section 377, which outlaws carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman, or animal, does not contain this exception as it was originally drafted or to criminalize homosexuality. The High Court was hearing an appeal filed by a man against his conviction In a case about the death of his wife in 2017, a trial court had found that the wife became ill and died subsequently due to a forced physical relationship. It had convicted the man under the IPC sections 375, 377 and 304 culpable homicide not amounting to murder, but the High Court reversed the trial court's ruling. IPC section 377 now omitted in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita BNS was often the only legal recourse for married women in cases of non-consensual sex in a marriage. The High Court ruling effectively takes away that recourse, echoing the same concerns that legal experts had when the BNS omitted the provision entirely. What is the Chhattisgarh High Court's ruling? In its ruling, the High Court pointed out that Section 375 of the IPC contained the marital rape exception under which a man could not be prosecuted for non-consensual sex with his wife who had attained the age of majority. It also observed that an amendment was enacted in 2013 to expand the definition of rape, but the exception was retained in the section. The court said that it was a well-settled principle of law that if two provisions were inconsistent, then the two cannot stand together and earlier is abrogated by the later. Notably, the marital rape exception is currently under challenge before the Supreme Court, and the Centre has filed an affidavit in favor of retaining the provision. Regarding Section 377, the High Court relied on Supreme Court's 2018 judgment that decriminalized the homosexuality. The apex court's ruling had only laid down this provision and not entirely struck it down. Therefore, Section 377 remains on the books, continuing to punish non-consensual unnatural offences. And unnatural offences against the order of nature is understood to include sexual acts that do not lead to procreation, covering, for example, bestiality. The High Court said, following the 2018 ruling, if an unnatural offence is committed between consenting partners, Section 377 IPC is not made out. The court thus held that sexual intercourse or sexual acts by a man with his wife is not a rape, and therefore, if any unnatural sex, as defined under Section 377, is committed by the husband with his wife, then it can also be treated to be an offence. Given the marital rape exception over the years, women have invoked Section 377 for non-consensual sex along with provisions of domestic violence, etc. Section 377 carries a sentence of up to 10 years in jail, even if it did not lead to conviction. The provision was invoked as a starting point to initiate prosecution and leverage some protection under the law, while Section 77's omission from Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita an issue. There is no equivalent for Section 377 in the BNS. Numerous experts have argued that this is an issue as the deletion of the law leaves men and LGBTQIA plus individuals without meaningful protection against sexual offences. In November 2023, a parliamentary standing committee tasked with recommending change to the BNS before it was enacted said in its report that Section 377 remained applicable in case of non-consensual camel intercourse with adults. By deleting it from the BNS, it noted that no provision for non-consensual sexual offence against male, female, transgender and for bestiality has been made. The concerns These concerns were raised because sexual offences under the BNS fall under the chapter title of Counts of Offence against Women and Child, and from the text of the provisions only envisions men as the perpetrated and women as victims for offences such as rape, sexual harassment, and stalking. It does not consider the possibility of men or LGBTQIA plus persons who do not identify as women being the victims of such crimes. The Transgender Persons Protection of Rights Act 2019 broadly punishes those who commit harms or injuries or endangers the life, safety, health, or well-being, whether mental or physical, of transgender person. However, it only provides a maximum punishment of 2 years imprisonment. In 2024, Advocate Gandwa Gulati filed a PIL at the Delhi High Court seeking the revival of Section 377. In August 2024, the Delhi High Court directed the centre to treat the plea as a representation and decided as expeditiously as possible, preferably in 6 months. However, the Supreme Court dismissed a similar plea in October 2024, ruling that this court cannot direct that a particular act constitutes an offence. Such an exercise falls under parliamentary domain. India's middle class 2.0, the top 5 IT firms TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL, and Tech Mahindra employ more Indians today than the railways or the armed forces. Similarly, private sector banks have more employees compared with their state-owned counterparts, but India still has a major job challenge beyond services. Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana schemes need aims. Why US President can't serve beyond 2 terms, tradition that became law. Aline Chauhan from New Delhi said a week after returning to the White House, US President Donald Trump floated the idea that the 2 term limit for American presidents could be negotiable. I have raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I cannot use for myself, but I am not 100% sure because I do not know. I think I am not allowed to run again. I'm not sure am I allowed to run again, Trump said at the annual retreat of House Republicans in Florida last month. Although this is not the first time that Trump mused about serving more than 2 terms. The 22nd amendments to the US Constitution, which was ratified in 1951, bars him from doing so. Before this, at a House Republican event in Washington, Trump had said, I suspect I wouldn't be running again unless you think it's so good. We have got to figure something else out. 22nd Amendment, no person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice. The amendment says if a Vice President becomes President during the term of her predecessor, she can still serve 2 full terms as long as she serves less than half of her predecessor's remaining term. For instance, Lyndon Johnson, who was John F. Kennedy's vice president, took over for 14 months after the later assassination in 1963. He then won an election in 1964 and could have run for other term in 1968 if he had not dropped out. In theory, he could have served for little over 9 years. The amendment was enacted because there was a concern about entrenching power in a king like Kimberly Well, who teaches constitutional law at the University of Baltimore, told the New York Times. Older tradition, although the farmers of the US Constitution chose to not have term limits, The issue was hotly contested. This did not settle the debate. Only 14 years after the Constitution came into effect in 1806, the first proposal to limit presidential tenure was introduced in Congress. It was rejected. Then in 1824 and again in 1826, the Senate approved resolutions calling for a two-term limit, but they died in the House. Historian Stephen W. Stathish wrote in his paper, the 22nd Amendment, a practical remedy or partisan maneuver, 1990. But even as the communists mule term limits, a tradition of presidents not serving for more than two terms had already taken shape. In 1796, President George Washington's refusal to run for a third term received such official sanction that it became an almost unwritten law, virtually as sacred as many provisions of the Constitution. Status wrote, this tradition was threatened for the first time in 1872 when, after the reflection of Ulysses S. Grant to a second term, the allies of the former Civil War general began to push the idea of third Grant term. This became a topic of discussion, especially during 1874 midterm elections. Among other things, the very hint of a third presidential run caused the Republican whooping 94 seats in Congress. Grant eventually announced that he would not accept a nomination if it were tendered. In 1875, the House of Representatives passed a resolution which sought to promote the two-term tradition. It said that breaking the tradition would be unwise, unpatriotic, and fraught with peril to our free institution. However, the resolution did not debar a president from a third term. Grant notably again ran for president in 1880. He did not succeed. The exception and the law. Till date, Franklin Roosevelt remains the only US president to break the two-term norm. His death in 1945. He won four consecutive elections in 1932, 36, 1940 and 44. His argument for remaining in office was that the US needed consistent leadership through the Great Depression and later World War II. Democrat Roosevelt's passing breathed life into efforts towards a constitutional amendment enthusiasm, ensuring that two-term limit. Republicans did call for such an amendment in 1940 and 44, but Roosevelt's popularity and the Democrats' electoral success meant it was in vain. After the Republicans regained Congress in 1946, one of the first priorities was a constitutional amendment to prevent any future president from gaining a Roosevelt-type hold on the White House. Stathish wrote in 1947 and 22nd amendment was passed in Congress after lengthy negotiation over what the term limit should be, the two-year term or 160-year term. Slow and deliberate Wallace and Gromit wins at BAFT approved the value of the handmaiden word in a lecture by AI. In 1840, French painter Paul Delaroche saw the first today painting is dead. In 2016, animator Hayao Miyazaki, in response to a presentation of AI created animation said, I feel like we are hearing the end of times. The history of art shows that change is inevitable, shackling the cartoonist. If we are too touchy about cartoons, we will shrink our leader discretion history. Clinton is remembered through a popular video that sums up his two-term presidency in 24 cartoons, not all equally unflattering. Archaeal cartoons mark history. Imagine a long-serving prime minister like Modi ending up with fewer prime ministerial cartoons than one K Gujarat, Devgoda or Gujarat Nanda. Gujarat Nanda. Thanks to the cartoonist, thanks to the cartoon, lightning had struck Agenda Vikrantas, Agenda Vikatan a second time. Access to the digital edition of this 100-year-old popular Tamil periodical seemed blocked after the state's BJP leaders demanded a ban on cartoon it carried showing Prime Minister Narendra Modi in change sitting alongside a triumphant President Donald Trump. Opening a door draft will allowing private universities in Kerala has potential to transform state's higher education system. For decades, Kerala's education system has been marked by paradox even as school education thrived and was held up as a source of the state's pride. The limitations of its higher education system led many students to leave the state in pursuit of better option and greater opportunities. Last week's decision by Kerala's Left Democratic Front-led government to ratify a draft bill that would permit private universities to operate in the state has the potential to change this predicament, stem the outflow of students and going forward, perhaps even transform the state into an educational hub. A new era of trade. Trump's action have implications for legal arrangement. India needs to adapt and respond. While India is trying its best to adjust to the new normal in trade and investment framework, the same may not be the case with the rest of the world, as most other countries have bases with all those with whom they do not have any specific trade deal. Changes brought in by Trump actually have serious implications for existing global arrangements with the idea of my trade advantage granted to one trading partner to all other partners. The recent meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump addressed wide-ranging issues, including the setting of ambitious targets for bilateral trade. The meeting took place against the backdrop of growing apprehensions over heightened global uncertainty caused in part by the disruptive actions of the US President. India had to carefully navigate this trip, which came at a time when old norms of trade and governance are being rejected and new ones are yet to take full shape. As stated by Trump, the US will have fair and reciprocal plans for trade and tariffs. In order to take forward the idea of making 500, India and the US have agreed to go in for a multi-sector bilateral trade agreement by the fall of 2025, keeping in view the broader framework of compact catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerating commerce and technology. A work in the road, Trump's moves on Ukraine mark a sharp break from past US approach underlying deepening visions with Europe, opening a door draft bill allowing private universities in Kerala has potential to transform state's higher education system. 11 holds their meet with which leaders amid US tech rivalry. From Beijing, Chinese presidency, Xi Jinping held a real meeting on Monday with some of the biggest names in China's technology sector, such as Alibaba founder Jack Ma, urging them to show their talent and be confident in the power of China's model and market. Exports contract 2.38% in Jan, trade deficit guidance to $23 billion. Inclusion of electoral bonds in new 1T bill intrigues experts. Profit booking leading foreign investors to sell Indian equities, FMCs from Mumbai. Raising insurance cover for depositors above 5 lakh rupees under active constitution from Mumbai. Renewed Indo-US nuclear cooperation, a diplomatic upside with 3 clear gains. News from New Delhi. It is from New Delhi. RPF trying to clear overreach when platform for Kumbh special change, due to which a stampede. At 8:45 p.m. announcement that train to Prayagraj from PF number 12, then another announcement said PF number 16. News from New Delhi was set off. The stampede at New Delhi railway station on Saturday, killing 18 persons, was an announcement that changed the departure platform of a Kumbh special train to Prayagraj within minutes, according to an inquiry report prepared by an inspector rank officer of the Railway Protection Force. Now 60 stations to get holding areas to regulate passenger while it works on US trade agreement. Man government suspends Muxar DC over serious corruption complaints. Chandigarh government overrules objections of LOP set to name new CBC. BJP yet to name its Delhi CM. Off-taking ceremony likely to be held Thursday, part of Punjab's migration dream. When a United States military plane carrying 119 illegal immigrants touched down at Amritsar airport at 11:30 p.m. on February 15. Among the deportees from Punjab was one passing 18 from Miami village in Hoshiarpur. Dream lasted barely a month. He went to the United Kingdom a month earlier and an agent sent him to the US from there on January 23. However, he ended up in a detention center. He had spent nearly rupees 60 lakh to send him to the US. Manpreet's father lives in France, while his mother and siblings live in village, says his uncle Winkle Singh. 3 US military planes carrying hundreds of illegal Indian immigrants have landed at Amritsar airport so far under US President Donald Trump's crackdown on undocumented migrants. But in Miami village, with just over 7,000 residents, mostly women, children, and the elderly, thriving Western Union outlets, currency exchanges, pizza parlors, and lavish bungalows that host their owners just once a year. Deportation is hardly a deterrent. This village in Hoshiarpur still bear this moniker of mini America over the sheer number of its residents who have migrated to the US, many of them illegally with pride. Nearly 40% of the families in the village have moved abroad successfully since the 1970s, and 90% of its current occupants have at least one relative in the US, Canada, Australia, or Europe. Despite the deportation, the long separation from family, the risk involved in taking the donkey illegal route, nothing had slowed the steady flow out of Miami. Take Kulwant Singh 60, who took the donkey route to the US in 2001, recruited into the Central Reserve Police Force or CRPF in 1985. Kulwant switched over to Punjab Police in 1990 and stayed on for over a decade. Since his family owned no land, he says he felt financially stagnant and set his sights on the US in 2001, paying an agent rupees 10 lakh to take him to the country. I and left my family, wife and 3 children behind from Delhi. I flew to Cuba and Jamaica before landing in Miami 30 days later, he says. As soon as he set foot in the US, Kulwant Singh was detained for 20 days. I filed for asylum, but my plea was rejected in 2006. I was deported and sent to the Tihar jail in Delhi for 20 days. I was released after furnishing a bond of rupees 2,000, he says. Despite these setbacks, he says he made the best of his time in the US. I worked at few stations while my plea was awaiting hearing. Besides repaying my 10 lakh rupees debt in a year, I managed to earn enough to build a house in my village and my children quality education. None of this would have been possible on a policeman's salary, he says, reported from the US in 2006. Supreme Court flags the number of petitions filed on places of worksheet act will become impossible. CGI-led bench refuses to hear fresh writ petitions, adjourns matter to April. News from New Delhi Express News Service expressing dismay over the number of petitions being filed on the violations of worship Special Provisions Act 1991, the Supreme Court on Monday refused to entertain fresh writ petitions in the matter. The court, however, allowed those who have filed writ petitions on which notices have not been issued so far to file intervention applications. Instead, the court adjourned the hearing to April when a three-judge bench will take up the petitions. We are constrained to pass this order as there are a large number of writ petitions raising new and additional grounds, etc. The two-judge bench of Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Sanjay Kumar said fresh applications except those writ petitions which are being disposed of in terms of this order will be allowed only if new grounds are raised, he said. At the outset, the CJI expressed dismay over the number of petitions being filed in the matter. BJP yet to name its Delhi CM off-taking ceremony likely to be held on Thursday. News from New Delhi. Rahul wants process deferred until Supreme Court decides on challenges to law that replaced CJI with Minister from New Delhi. People say I need to be in the news, but I don't have a PR team. My PR is my cricket. From Nagpur, 36-year-old who last played for India in the West Indies almost 2 years ago, hasn't given up hopes of a comeback. Now, idea page. Social justice, not just quota. A reservation is held out as the future claim for justice for Muslims. A recently released report takes us beyond this common sense. Reservation for Muslims is a bad idea. Affirmative action for Muslims is the need for the hour. If you say yes to both these propositions, as I do, you may appear inconsistent, if not self-contradictory. That's not your fault. The fault lies with the cramping of our imagination of social justice in contemporary India. As a result, affirmative action has become synonymous with reservation, and that too in government jobs and public education. All battles for social justice turn into battles for and against quota, quota within quota. Every group that suffers from any form of disadvantage or discrimination or just unmet need ask for reservation, ex-servicemen, sexual minorities, displaced person. The Indian state is like a surgeon standing at the operating table with just one big knife for an instrument. No wonder there is a demand of reservation for the entire Muslim community. This is not the Kottayam I love ragging episode at a nursing college goes against the grain of the city of letters and development. Let us not take the leaders we choose see mill equipped to address today's biggest problems. Stampede at station, crowds, clusters, there was no one to help. Families recount what transpired. Some were on their way home to other states, others were going for Mahakumbh. These were the 18 who died at New Delhi railway station. Ankita Upadhyay, Sakshi Chand, Priyagnesh, Nirbhay Thakur, Upashika speak to some of the families who lost their loved ones. Rise against cancer, cervical cancer, tackling the preemptible threat of HPV infection. Cancer is a word that strikes fear, and the possibility of eliminating it by available tools, HPV vaccine and screening is indeed exciting. After hepatitis B, which causes liver cancer, this is the second cancer with an infectious etiology that has a vaccine to prevent it. Human papillomavirus is a common virus that affects millions of adults globally with a significant public health impact in India and other low and middle income countries. HPV refers to a group of more than 200 strains of the virus, or 40 of which are known to affect the genital area, and 15 of these are high risk. It is estimated that around 90% of the population will acquire HPV infection at some point in their lives. While the virus usually causes no symptoms and clears up through innate immunity, persistent infection with certain high-risk types is the necessary cause for some of the deadliest cancers, notably cervical cancer. Professor Gerard Hussein was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1928 for his discovery. Other cancers associated with HPV include throat, anal, penile, vulvar, and vaginal cancers. In India, cervical cancer is the second most common cancer among women. The World Health Organization has called for global action towards the elimination of cervical cancer as a public health problem by adopting a 90-70-90 approach by 2030, namely 90% of girls vaccinated with HPV vaccine by the age of 15 years, 70% of women screened with a high performing test such as HPV test as 35 years of age and again by 45 years of age, and 90% of women identified with cervical pre-cancer and cancer treatment. By these measures, cervical cancer will be reduced to a rare cancer in the next few decades. HPV vaccine, a lifesaver. The HPV vaccine is the most effective tool available to prevent HPV infection that the cancer associated with it. The vaccine protects against the most dangerous strains of the virus, including types 16 and 18, which are responsible for 85% of cervical cancers in India. WHO recommends the inclusion of the HPV vaccine in national programs to the primary target group of young girls between the ages of 9 and 14 in one or two dose schedule. Women aged 15 to 20 years can also take the one or two dose schedule. Women older than 21 years can take two doses separated by a minimum 6-month interval. For immunosuppressed persons, 3 doses are recommended. In males aged 9 years and older are also eligible for HPV vaccination. However, WHO emphasizes that achieving 80% vaccination coverage among females can significantly reduce the risk of HPV infection in males as well. In India, for HPV vaccine have been licensed with the earliest introduction in 2009. The roles of screening in cervical cancer prevention. While HPV vaccination allows primary prevention of cervical cancer, screening is a method of secondary prevention directing infection at precancerous stages. Cervical intraepithelial neoplasia screening plays a crucial role in the fight against HPV related cancers. What can you do? Get vaccinated. Currently, HPV vaccination is mostly available at private health care providers. It is a safe and effective measure to prevent cervical cancer. All parents with girls aged between 9 and 14 years should get them vaccinated with the HPV vaccine. Older women and boys can discuss with their physicians regarding the benefits of vaccination for them. Get screened. If you are a woman is 30 or older, get screened regularly for cervical cancer, preferably HPV testing, and get treated for any abnormality. Stay informed and spread the word. Awareness is key to reducing the burden of HPV related cancers. Educate yourself and others about HPV, its risk and preventive measures. Share information about the importance of HPV vaccination and screening with family and friends. HPV is a preventable infection, and with the right tools, vaccination, screening, and timely detection and treatment, India can significantly reduce the burden of HPV related cancers. Through awareness, education, and preventive measures, we can protect our future generations from preventable and deadly cancer causing virus. Madam Shri Dr. Mirza Batla, former professor and head department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, AIMS, New Delhi. The importance of early detection in breast cancer, Dr. Vinay Deshman. Breast cancer is the most common cancer affecting women. It seems like everyone knows someone who has been affected by it in some way. It is most common in the age group of 40 to 70 years. It is also seen in an increasing numbers of young women under 40 years because India has a young population. The earlier breast cancer is caught, the better chance of beating it. That's why early detection is key when it comes to fighting this disease. Early detection results in treatment being less aggressive, more effective, and of shorter duration. To detect it early, it is essential to be aware of the early signs of breast cancer, perform breast self examination, and undergo regular mammography and ultrasound examination from the age of 40 years. MRI evaluation is performed in high risk cases, and as a problem solving tool, it is important to listen to your body and seek a doctor's opinion if you have any symptom which persists beyond 2 to 3 weeks. For those diagnosed with breast cancer, there are now a lot of treatment options available, that is surgery, radiation therapy, chemotherapy, and immunotherapy. All breast cancers are not the same, and treatment may vary depending on the subtype of the cancer, extent and volume of the disease in the body. This is based on a study of biomarkers on the cancer cells, and the stage of breast cancer is determined based on imaging like ultrasound, CT, PET, CT scan, evaluation of the genomic composition of the cells within the tumor and in the bloodstream, as well as algorithms which can predict the benefit of different treatments are prognostic and predictive tools doctors utilize to individualize treatment. This is popularly known as precision medicine and allows personalization of treatment. Advances in surgical treatment have made it more precise, less aggressive, and increasingly allow the breast to be saved using oncoplastic technique. Thus, the breast does not always have to be removed. A better understanding of the disease allows us to avoid chemotherapy with its side effects in over 50% of the patients and better control of side effects in those receiving it. Radiation therapy is more precise and of shorter duration. Newer treatments like immunotherapy have contributed to superior outcomes with minimal side effects. It is important to remember that you are not alone in this battle. There are plenty of resources and support systems out there to help you along the way. Cancer is not a death sentence. While the road may seem daunting, it is important to stay positive and focus on your treatment plan. Many have beaten cancer with advancements in medical technology and research. If detected early and effectively, it is possible to live a long and fulfilling active life. Surround yourself with loved ones who can provide emotional support and encouragement. Remember to communicate openly with your healthcare team about any concern or questions you may have. Together you can work towards a brighter and healthier future. It's also crucial to take care of your overall health and well-being during and after treatment. Eating a balanced diet, staying active, and managing stress can all play a role in your recovery. And don't be afraid to lean on your loved ones for support. They can be a source of strength and comfort during this challenging time. Remember, you are stronger than you think. With the right mindset and support, you can overcome this obstacle, emerge stronger, and live a long, happy, active life. Dr. Vinay देश में breast surgical oncologist, Breach Candy Hospital and PD Hinduza Hospital, Mumbai, trustee Indian Cancer Society. Challenges after childhood cancer. Young adults typically aspire to achieve financial and emotional stability, seeking a caring and affectionate partner. However, those who have survived childhood cancer after encounter distinct obstacles in pursuing marriage and romantic relationships with Indian social cultural framework. These challenges arise from combination of physical, psychological, social and cultural factors. Cancer treatments like chemotherapy and radiation may lead to infertility, which is often a significant concern for potential marital alliances in Indian society, where having children is highly valued. Survivors may face long-term health complications such as fatigue, organ damage, or secondary cancers, which could make them less desirable in the marriage market. Families or potential partners may hesitate due to the perceived risk of cancer recurrence. Cancer survivors are often stigmatized due to societal misconceptions. Survivors may struggle with body image concerns, especially if they have scars, disfigurement, hair loss, or past trauma related to their illness. Survivors and their families often grapple with whether and how to disclose the history of cancer during marriage negotiations. In traditional arranged marriage, families often prioritize healthy individuals, leading to the rejection of survivors. In some cases, families of survivors may face increased dowry demands as compensation for the perceived risk of marrying someone with a medical history. Some people or communities view cancer as a curse for that woman, further complicating marriages prospectus. Traditional belief around fertility and physical health can exacerbate challenges for survivors, especially women. Families of survivors may face financial difficulties due to the high cost of cancer treatment, which can affect their ability to meet societal expectations in marriage arrangements. Potential partners may worry about ongoing healthcare costs for the survivors. Women survivors may face harsher judgment due to societal expectations around beauty, fertility, and caregiving roles. Male survivors may encounter skepticism regarding their ability to fulfill traditional roles to providers, especially if they have health-related limitations. The lack of clear guidelines on the disclosure of medical history in matrimonial arrangements creates legal and ethical dilemmas for survivors and their families. Discrimination based on health history is an unaddressed area in matrimonial law in India. Is an unaddressed area in matrimonial laws in India. To reduce stigma, promote acceptance and support survivors in navigating marital challenges, following measures which might be useful. Timely management of late effects, raise awareness to combat the stigma associated with cancer, support groups for shared experiences and advice, premarital counseling for survivors and partners, legal protections against discrimination, engage community and religious leaders to challenge outdated beliefs. Dr. Savita Goswami, clinical psychologist, Tata Memorial Hospital. Childhood cancer, a journey from nihilism to optimism. The story of pediatric oncology is one of the true success stories of modern medicine. It is a journey from Nihilism to optimism, a disease which was invariably fatal 30 years ago, now enjoys a long-term survival of 70 to 80%, and most survivors are cured. With better childhood survival in India, cancer will gradually but definitely assume an important place as a cause of childhood mortality. The common concern occurring in children are leukemia, cancer of lymph nodes, central nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, kidney, bones, or muscles. Most childhood cancers require disciplined, integrated treatment with a multidisciplinary approach. The first chance is to the first chance is the best, and giving optimum treatment at the outset is the most important factor in deciding the outcome of these cancers. Chemotherapy, surgery, and radiotherapy are mostly used in combination depending on the type and stage of the cancer. Early diagnosis will become early stage disease which requires simple treatment and yields a high success rate. Childhood cancer cells divide rapidly and therefore are executively sensitive to chemotherapy, which is the most important pillar of treatment. These drugs cause damage to many rapidly dividing normal cells in the body, causing hair loss, diarrhea, mouth ulcers, and infections. However, these are temporary, short-lived problems which can be effectively tackled by supportive care. We are slowly moving towards the targeted therapies. These novel small molecules work like magic bullets, targeting the cancer cells with unmatched accuracy and sparing the normal cells. Surgery is utilized to resect the tumor to preserve organs and their functions, avoiding any major morbidity. Radiation therapy entails the use of X rays, gamma rays generated from cobalt or linear accelerator machines to destroy the tumor. Any advance in the healthcare system is only as valuable as it is available and accessible to those who need it. Only 15 to 20% of children with cancer on the net for treatment in India, mainly due to lack of diagnosis and access to treatment, which is financially and socially very taxing to parents. Dedicated pediatric cancer units are very few and exist only in big cities. There is a great paucity of trained pediatric oncologists in the country, as there is no formal training program. The family dislocation for cancer treatment for a new city, the cost of to and fro travel, the added financial burden of treatment, the loss of livelihood of the parents, and the problem of care of their siblings make compliance to treatment a real challenge. Parents, volunteers, and health professionals should come together to create an alliance of the stakeholders to sensitize society, influence health policy decision makers, and help mobilize the resources at the national and international levels. With these active steps, we hope that we will soon be able to achieve our goal of treating and curing all children with cancer. The journey from nihilism to optimism would then be complete. Dr. Purna Kurkure, Head Pediatric Oncology and BMT, SRCC Children Hospital. Cancer survivorship program in India, a new kid on the block. The focus of healthcare professionals so far has been largely on treating cancer. The time has come to put similar efforts into developing a cancer survivorship program for optimizing the care of cancer patients. There is a definite need for such a program, as survivors are often affected by long-term as well as late effects of cancer therapy. Late effects of cancer therapy. Cancer survivors and their family members face challenges. Broadly, categorized into physical issues connected with cancer treatment and the sequel of treatment, psychological issues such as the fear of cancer, recurrence, emotions, vulnerability, altered concept of self, altered interpersonal relationship and uncertainty, economic issues, employment and insurance discrimination, limited access to health and life insurance. These and many more issues of survivors need to be addressed. Whilst childhood cancer survivors are often closely monitored in the longer term because of fewer number of patients, the scenario for adults is less organized, drawing inspiration from the model of care established at Jude Children's Research Hospital, USA. The first follow-up clinic for long-term survivors of childhood cancer was initiated at Tata Memorial Hospital in February 1991. This clinic was appropriately named after completion of therapy clinical to emphasize that acts are needed beyond therapy to achieve cure in its full dimensions. On June 7, 2009, childhood cancer survivors from the ACT clinic formed USEM, a voluntary support group under the Indian Cancer Society UZ determination to overcome challenges and lead fulfilling lives. ACT UZA model has attained three milestones: providing ongoing medical care to CCS at a tertiary care center, ongoing communication with primary care provider, ensuring continuity of follow-up, education and empowerment of survivors through a voluntary support group UCAM, sensitizing them towards the need for continued surveillance, healthy lifestyle, and becoming ambassadors of the message childhood cancer is curable in society. Survivorship is a relatively recent concept. Models and guidelines developed in the high income countries for long term follow up care are not always suitable for low and middle income countries. Models developed by NGOs in collaboration with healthcare providers have allowed scaling up survivorship efforts at a faster rate and improve the depth of services. ICS has developed a holistic model for survivorship care based on the successful collaboration of ACT Clinic at Tata Memorial Hospital and UZM CCS support group at ICS. The objective is to facilitate and support the pediatric cancer unit across the country to start ACT clinic for holistic medical and psychological care of CCS to improve their quality of life and optimize the survivorship care in India through model Picasso partnership in cancer survivorship optimization. Cancer patients who have completed treatment can benefit greatly from proactive follow-up care, taking the model Picasso forward and extending the ACT clinic experience to all cancer survivors can make a huge difference in the holistic care of all cancer patients. Rise against cancer. Oral cancers are largely preventable. Dr. Anil K. Cruz, Director Oncology and Head and Neck Surgeon, Apollo Group of Hospitals. Oral cancers are a global problem associated with high mortality attributed primarily to late presentation. These cancers are largely preventable and able to early detection with over 90% cure rates in initial stages. Half of these cancers occur in our part of the world and are amongst the five most common cancers in our country and the most common cancer in the Indian male. Tobacco and alcohol are the two most important etiological factors implicated in the occurrence of these cancers. In addition, it is important to remember that the area nut sucari is equally harmful. Grade 1 carcinogen and the mistaken belief that its consumption without tobacco is safe is incorrect. The majority present themselves at an advanced stage, necessitating multimodality therapy with severe implications on survival, function, and osmosis. This is unfortunate given that the oral cavity lends itself to easy examination as well as the fact that these cancers are often preceded by well recognized pre-malignant lesions. Any patch associated with a change in the color of the oral cavity, mucosa, white and red or generalized while this coloration of the oral cavity with decreased mouth opening and intolerance to spices are precursor lessons with a high chance of malignant conversion. Black pigmentation is common in the Indian subcontinent and in the vast majority is harmless. Seeking medical opinion and stopping habits will reverse the process and decrease the risk of conversion over time. Oral cancer is predominantly a surgical disease and is usually the first modality of treatment irrespective of the stage at presentation. Stage 1 and 2 cancers are treated with single modality therapy, while advanced cancers need a combination of therapy that includes surgery and radiotherapy with or without chemotherapy. Chemotherapy by itself cannot cure oral cancers and is usually used along with radiotherapy. There have been major advances in treatment, improving outcomes and decreasing side effects. Conservative surgery, lasers, microvascular, free flap reconstructions, dental implants, proton radiation therapy, and well as targeted chemotherapy and immunotherapy patients need to be treated at center of the excellence to help improve outcomes and quality of life. Misinformation and myths. Cancer is a complex and often misunderstood disease. And unfortunately, many myths and misinformation surrounding it continue to circulate, causing confusion and fear, usually leading to harmful decisions about treatment and prevention. One common myth is that cancer is always a death sentence. While some cancers are aggressive and difficult to treat, many types of cancer are now highly treatable, especially if detected early. Advances in medical research have led to improved survival rates for several cancers, and many people go on to live full, healthy lives after treatment. Another widespread myth is that cancer is contagious. Cancer cannot be spread through casual contact, such as hugging or touching, while some cancers, like cervical cancer, are linked to infection. For example, human papillomavirus with infection everyday interactions. A third misconception is that using certain foods or supplements and alternate therapies can cure cancer. While diet plays an important role in overall health, no single food or supplement is proven to cure cancer. Relying on alternative treatments instead of scientifically supported therapies can delay effective treatment and worsen outcomes. Another common belief is that a biopsy of cancer causes it to disseminate is baseless and often results in deferral of investigation and delays treatment. Cancer treatment cannot be offered without histological or cytological evidence in most situations. Additionally, many people believe that cancer treatments are harsh and debilitating. The side effects of cancer treatment vary widely depending on the type of cancer, treatment plan, and individual responses with therapies for aggressive symptoms management. Many patients experience fewer side effects than in the past. Individuals must seek accurate information from reputable resources such as healthcare and professionals and trusted organizations to avoid the harmful effects of cancer. Myths and misinformation. Awareness and education are the keys to empowering people in their cancer journey. Dr. Ravi Kanan, surgical oncologist and director, Thatcher Cancer Hospital and Research Center, Assam. PMC enabling healthcare to all sections, Dr. Shobhi Gupta. It is said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. The first step was taken in 1941 when Tata Memorial Hospital was born. It was born of a love story of Sir Dorabji Tata for his amazing wife Meherbai Tata, who was called India's spokeswoman by none other than Mahatma Gandhi. Sir Dorabji Tata conceived TMH after Meherbai suffered from cancer and had to be taken out of India for treatment, but eventually succumbed to this disease at a relatively young age. Tata Memorial Centre TMC is an example of what India can achieve in the new world. A world where India not only aspires but is determined to be a developed nation, determined to deliver the health and healthcare that its citizens deserve. TMC, under the guidance and support of the Department of Atomic Energy, is resolved to be a part of this era-defining transformation, living Gandhi's immortal exhortation to be the change that we wish to see. In the past 12 years, TMC has transformed itself from a two-hospital Mumbai-based organization and 11 hospital institution in 7 states of India. It is a model for the delivery of evidence-based, affordable cancer care to all sections of society. It registers among all its hospitals about 120,000 new cancer patients every year. Two of our hospitals, Sangrur in Punjab and Muzaffarpur in Bihar, are examples of how comprehensive cancer care should not remain restricted to big cities and metropolitan India. TMC has consistently advocated for cost-effective and implementable cancer care solutions for India. The Mission Proton Therapy Center in the Advanced Center for Treatment, Research and Education in Cancer is an excellent example of accessible cancer care. The most advanced treatments given the patient at sustainably subsidized or no cost to them. TMC has conducted some of the most impactful research in India that has led to the implementable solutions. Our researchers have pioneered the development of and provided proof for low-cost metronomic chemotherapy regimens, low-dose immunotherapy, shorter duration target therapy, and several other cost-effective solutions. We have also researched and proved ways of increasing cure rates in oral, breast, cervical, and lung cancers with treatments that don't bankrupt patients and their families. In collaboration with scientists from the Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Our researchers have uncovered a new effect of the plant-based psychochemical chlorophyllene, reducing the side effects of radiotherapy. Much remains to be done. Cancer incidence in India continue to rise, projected to increase from the current annual 1.5 million to over 2 million annually in the next 15 years, although income and human development levels will continue to increase in India. A substantial portion of the increased cancer burden will fall on the less privileged sections of society. TMC has consistently advocated for the hub and spoke model for cancer care delivery in India, with public sector hubs and spokes so geographically distributed that patients receive health care close to their homes. TMC and the Department of Atomic Energy have already contributed to the development of required resources with rapid expansion in the past 10 years. We have provided proof that that systems can be created in challenging circumstances in makeshift hospitals while we complete and commission the projects. TMC now sees itself with some justification not only as a network of cancer hospitals but also as the organizer of a vast societal project. However, to remain worthy of continued emulation, we will have to remain steadfast to our original mission, delivering the highest levels of excellence in service, education, and research in our hospitals. Patients and families who come to our hospital in the most challenging time of their lives, who are our reason, should feel and know that TMC cares for them and does the best it can for them. On behalf of TMC, I extend my heartiest congratulations to the Indian Cancer Society on its upcoming 75th anniversary in 2026 and illustrious years of service in the fight against cancer. This remarkable milestone is a testament to ICS' unwavering commitment to early direction, patient support, and awareness, which has helped to shape India's cancer care landscape over the decades. I would also like to reaffirm that TMC will strive to its fullest to contribute to national health security as we make strides towards becoming a developed nation by the 100th anniversary of our independence. Dr. Sandeep Gupta, Professor of Medical Oncology and Director, Tata Memorial Center. Yoga, a complementary and alternative therapy. Anita Venuvala, cancer survivor. The needs of a cancer patient are not limited to just good medical treatment, they also need non medical support and care for their physical, emotional, and cosmetic rehabilitation. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer 31 years ago, at the age of 39, I felt my whole life was crumbling around me. I was extremely fortunate that my whole family had been doing yoga with Guruji BKS Iyengar for over 50 years, and hence he immediately called me to Pune and guided me to do the right asanas for my problem in the right way with support. I very soon started feeling much better and more positive and relaxed. After being with him for over 2 months, it was time for me to get back to my home in Mumbai. At that time, Guruji instructed me to share my experiences with others having the same problem so that they too could benefit. As I returned to normalcy, one thought kept recurring in my mind: could I possibly help others who are going through the same difficult process? That advice from Guruji and encouragement from my surgical oncologist Dr. Sultan Pradhan, who is not only an excellent doctor but a wonderful human being to help me tremendously with their support. The cancer rehab clinic for breast cancer survival was set up in 1994. To date, we have excellent volunteers and supports who run the clinic. We must remember that yoga does not cure cancer, but it helps in accepting the diagnosis, managing symptoms, pain, fatigue, emotions, and withstanding treatment. Understanding colon and rectal cancer. Dr. P. Jagannath. The Indian Cancer Society (ICS) began providing stoma bags and other aids for colon cancer patients in the early 1980s. The ICS also formed the Otomy Association of India in 1975. We support, educate and rehabilitate ostomy patients in India. Colon and rectal cancer facts and myths. Once a young man aged 40 came to my clinic with just a little constipation. He was taking some laxatives, but the symptoms persisted. His uncle had colon cancer and hence he wanted a complete checkup. He had many questions after diagnosis. Here are the answers. One is, what is the difference between colon and rectum? Colon is the large intestine or body arm is the part of the intestine where water is absorbed and the stool becomes harder. Rectum is the last part of the colon where the feces are stored and evacuation happens once or twice on command. I am deliberately separating the colon and rectum as the diagnosis and treatment are different. Second question, is colon cancer incidence increasing? There is worldwide trend of increase and the same is seen in India. Also, number of younger patients with colon rectal cancer is increasing. Many factors are attributed to this increase apart from increasing age and better detection. Our question is, what are the risk factors? Diet and lifestyle. Diet is an important factor. Diets, low fiber and high fat diets, sedentary lifestyle, diabetes, obesity. We have adapted a Western diet which has many harmful effects. Second is smoking and alcohol consumption. Recently, the US Surgeon General issued a warning that alcohol and smoking are responsible for the epidemic of cancer. The same holds for India. There is increased tobacco and alcohol usage. Fourth question is colon cancer hereditary? As in the patient who came to me, there are some colon cancers which occur due to genetic changes. There are two different groups. Some have polyps in the colon and others due to DNA mismatch repair genes. We routinely test all the patients for such changes and also the siblings and offspring. If the genetic change is transmitted, rest assured that this is a minority and most colon cancers are sporadic. Next question is, how can one reduce the risk of colon cancer? Many patients get worried when their near and dear ones are diagnosed. Here are some proven suggestions. One is, a diet rich in fruits and vegetables is beneficial. Have a variety of fruits and veggies. Two is, exercise regularly. It is amazing to see the benefits of exercise proven in most studies. Reduction of weight and benefits on heart and other systems make exercise the best habit to follow. Third is smoking is an absolute NO. Cancers of various organs and heart disease are increased due to smoking. Alcohol, when consumed regularly and in excess, can lead to cancer, not just liver but in other organs as well, and it acts along with smoking. Next question number 6 is, how can one detect colon cancer early? Early detection is the key to prevention and effective treatment. Fecal immunochemical test, FIT test for occult blood is a simple test and can be done at home with a kit recommended after 50 years with risk factors or symptoms. Sigmoidoscopy or coloscopy after the age of 50 once in 5 years is crucial in the early detection and prevention of this cancer because they can recognize and remove polyps before they turn malignant. Next question number 7 is, what are the symptoms of colorectal cancer? I normally see patients with symptoms more than 6 months. The early symptoms can be subtle. The fall in hemoglobin anemia is one such red flag. Constipation, diarrhea, and discomfort for a couple of weeks merit a visit to a doctor for examination. Blood in stools is an alarming symptom. Many times it is attributed to piles. Before treatment of so-called piles, sigmoidoscopy, a simple outpatient procedure, should be done. What are what are the treatment options? Treatment options. What are the treatment options? Treatment options for colon cancer including surgery, often laparoscopy or robotic, chemotherapy and radiotherapy with a multimodal approach tailored to the patient. In certain cases, immunotherapy is an option for those with DNA mismatch repair deficiency, while prevention through a healthy lifestyle and regular screening is the key to early detection and improved outcomes. The Indian Cancer Society has done human service by starting stoma care and also supplies for patients. Many doctors and lawyers are active and function with stoma irrigation. Dr. P. Jagannath, surgical oncologist, SL Raheja Hospital. Cancer trends in Greater Mumbai. Dr. Vinay Deshman and Saravani Koyande. The Mumbai Cancer Registry MCR, the first population based cancer registry PBCR of India, covers a 603 square kilometer geographical area of Greater Mumbai. In 2018, the MCR registered 14,524 cancer cases with an age-adjusted rate of 111.1%, 100,000 persons. The five leading cancer sites in Mumbai residents are breast 7.4%, mouth 7.3%, lung 6.4%, prostate 4.7%, and lymphoma 4.3%. In 2018, the MCR registered 7,473 cancer deaths in Greater Mumbai with an age-adjusted mortality rate of 57.5%. 100,000. The leading causes of death were breast 12.6%, lung 8.7%, liver 6.3%, mouth 6.3%, and prostate 3.7% for males. Lung cancer 11.1% is the most common cause of death, while for females, breast cancer accounts for the highest mortality 25%. MCR has a database extending over 50%. The registry has evaluated the trends of most common cancers. Mumbai has recorded an increasing trend of cancers of breast, ovary, and lung cancers in women, whereas mouth and prostate cancers are increasing in men. Rise against cancer. An integrated approach to cancer. Indian Cancer Society. The Indian Cancer Society ICS has been dedicated to addressing all aspects of cancer care based on science and evidence, with a special focus on supporting the underprivileged. Its efforts complement those of the government and hospitals in saving lives and enhancing the quality of life for cancer survivors. With an emphasis on early diagnosis, ICS supports an integrated approach across the entire cancer care continuum to improve care delivery models and strengthen pathways to collaboration and innovation. In 2025, ICS marks the 74th anniversary of its journey. Its sustained nationwide efforts are unified by the central goal of rising above cancer. What are the key activities? ICS is committed to promoting awareness, preventing and minimizing risk factors for cancer, and providing information and holistic non-financial support to underprivileged patients through its Rise Against Cancer movement, through its surgery, through its researches, through its registry education. It enables evidence-based intervention and evolving policies on cancer care. What is the awareness? The ICS creates nationwide awareness of cancer and its risk factors using mass media such as print, TV, digital, radio, and cinema, and encourages regular screening. ICS's message